Good morning, everyone. You may be seated. It is my honor and pleasure to open this ceremony where we have the joyful task of officially welcoming our new president, Andrew McGadney, into the Knox community. Although today is the day on which the title will officially be bestowed, many of you, I'm sure, are fully aware that his work as our 20th president is already well underway. So why, you might be wondering, do we need an inauguration ceremony? What will it accomplish that has not already happened? As an anthropologist who studies rituals and has seen them work their magic in many parts of the globe under a wide variety of circumstances, let me suggest that we are gathered here today because Andy is not the only one who is undergoing an important rite of passage. In fact, we need this ceremony as much as our new president does. A change in leadership is an exciting time for a college, but it also challenges us. As a community, we must prepare to grow in new ways, to become a new and better version of ourselves, while still holding fast to those things that make us Knox. And so we gather here in this historic building, reminding us of the deep and lasting ties between our college and our town. Seated among us, as you will see in your program, are delegates representing many colleges and universities, reminding us that we are not alone, that we have allies who share our same values and sense of purpose. Soon we will hear the voices of those representing the many different segments that constitute the Knox community. As we listen, may their voices remind us of our mutual interdependence and lead us to reaffirm our solidarity with one another. May the honors we bestow today on our esteemed guests remind us of what can be accomplished and inspire us to seek out ways to make our own contributions. And may the remarks of our new president embolden us to face the future with excitement and recommit ourselves to the work that lies ahead with renewed energy and confidence. Let the ceremony begin.
Good morning. My name is Tony Yetz. I'm chair of the board of Knox College. And on behalf of the board, I want to welcome all of you to the inauguration of C. Andrew McGadney, our 20th president. Before I go further, I want to acknowledge and welcome two people on the stage with us. Knox President Emeritus Teresa Amott and past Knox Board Chair and President Emeritus Roger Taylor. We're all here today, eyes ahead, excited for the promise of our future. But as fellow trustee Jerry Vovis remarked the other day, without the transformational leadership of Roger and Teresa, we would not be positioned now as we are, poised to move quickly into a bright future. And I want to thank both of you for being here. Thanks also to all of you who traveled some distance as representatives from many great institutions. It's an honor to have you with us. To those Knox alumni and students who have joined us, no, it's not Flunk Day. But this is a wonderful day of celebration nevertheless, and we're glad you're here. I also want to welcome the members of the Galesburg community who are here today. From the beginning of his candidacy, Andy has spoken of the importance of the relationship between our two communities. Our futures are brighter together, and I look forward to seeing how our partnership evolves under Andy's leadership. I want to welcome my colleagues on the board, whose support of Andy and this college has been tremendous and will continue to be crucial to the college's mission. I want to acknowledge the presence of faculty, staff, and students. Each of you in your own way are the backbone of this institution, and we're grateful to be a part of this community together. Lastly, on behalf of the board, I want to welcome and acknowledge Andy's family, especially Andy's wife, Camille. It's not news to Roger or Teresa, nor should it be news to any of us, that being the president of this college is a totally immersive job. It requires enormous energy and sacrifice. That can't happen without the equal commitment of the leader's family. And I want to personally thank Camille for her dedication to this college. Today will be a glorious day, a hopeful day, and I'm so happy to be able to share it with all of you. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartzman. I'm thankful to have been a professor at Knox College since 1998. And I've adopted Galesburg as my home. I've been the mayor of Galesburg for the past year. As many of you know, this amazing college and this remarkable city both got started in the same year by the same people. And we gather here today 185 years since that founding year. Nearly 2 centuries have passed, and so much has happened over that time. Yet, I firmly believe that the college's future and the city's future forever will be intertwined. To a great extent, the future of one is in the hands, or better, the heart of the other. Today is a very momentous occasion. We get to envision a brighter future. We get to meet and connect with others who will be part of making that future. And most significantly, we get to celebrate our college's 20th president arrival on campus and to our city. I have met with our new president, and I feel very confident that his wisdom and guidance will serve all of us very well as we launch into a very prosperous period, one filled with hope, optimism, and resilience. I welcome Dr. Andrew McGadney to Galesburg, a city with a rich history and an outstanding future. May both work and thrive together.
Good morning. I've heard it said that the long, long road to alma mater is the road that calls us home. So on behalf of the faculty who have made their home here in Galesburg, I want to thank the trustees, the alumni, the friends who have traveled that long, long road to be with us here today to celebrate the inauguration of President Andrew McGadney. To chairettes, the Board of Trustees, and the others who served on the search committee, thank you for convincing Andy and Camille to join us here on the Prairie. President McGadney, it's been a pleasure to get to know you this year. To say that the last 2 years have been a challenge is an understatement. But as the fire of the pandemic recedes, new seeds of growth and opportunity sprout. We look forward to working with you to bring Knox into a new era.
Good morning. My name is Rebecca Yoler, and I am a librarian in the Seymour Library, and I'm also the chair of the Staff Council. The Knox College Staff Council works to provide a positive collective voice and to foster a spirit of unity by encouraging the exchange of ideas among college staff in keeping with the mission of Knox College. We have been honored to meet regularly with President McGadney, and we look forward to continuing our work together. On behalf of the Knox College Staff Council, welcome to Knox, and thank you for your leadership.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jamil Davis. I'm a current junior here at Knox. On behalf of the student body and the Knox Student Senate, I would like to welcome President Andrew McGadney to the Knox College community. The student body appreciates you for listening to our concerns and speaking with us about the things that we hold dear to our hearts. As a student, I appreciate that you lead with a smile that encapsulates the campus in warmth and kindness. The student body is looking forward to the impactful leadership that you will bring to Knox community and the greater Galesburg community. Thank you very much.
When I first discovered Joel Thompson, I was thrilled. I heard his choral work entitled 7 Last Words of the Unarmed Man. He used the words of 7 black men who had been killed by police. The work was so brilliant and deeply moving that I decided I would study every piece that Joel Thompson ever wrote after that. And then I discovered this one. For this work, he was asked to write a response to Dr. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. For the text, he chose 2 poems by Langston Hughes. Here it is, Hold Fast to Dreams.
Good morning. That's better. I'm Andy's warm-up act. I'm David Green. I'm president of Colby, and I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled, to be here. This is such an historic moment, one of several that have defined this great college since its founding in 1837. I want to say a special thank you to President McGadney. That sounds so good, everything about it. And the Board of Trustees for inviting me today. I've been here for a few days, and I have to tell you, this is the warmest community I've ever been to. It's truly extraordinary. I want to say a special welcome to the entire Knox and Galesburg community. Communities, as the mayor said, that have been interlocked since George Washington Gale and his intrepid band of subscribers headed off from New York in covered wagons with bold plans for establishing a literary and religious community. This was no ordinary beginning for either a city or for a college. It was, in fact, an audacious beginning. It was built on a creative plan and a capacious vision, all informed by clear and lived values. The United States at that time was undergoing significant change, an expansionist push westward. New technologies were emerging that would fundamentally change communication, transportation, and work. Deep divisions were emerging regarding views of racial justice and equality, and the very concept of a united states was threatened. It sounds familiar, doesn't it? The world we inhabit now continues to evolve in ways that we experience daily and in ways that cannot yet be foretold. We have never been more connected as a people, with communications and travel providing nearly instantaneous options for personal interactions. Nonetheless, we are increasingly separated from one another as we work through the lingering effects of a global pandemic and the persistent, insidious, and alienating effects of rising censorship, personalized and algorithmically designed information bubbles, and the cementation of individual convictions and beliefs that are impervious to reasoned argument and unassailable evidence. And despite extraordinary and hard-fought gains on issues of equity and justice over many decades, the work can still seem in its infancy, and we appear to be more adept as a society in retreating from these gains when progress is essential. Now, the founders of this remarkable institution knew that there was no more powerful and enduring engine of progress than education. That is still true today. But the full promise of that progress will never be realized without our institutions once again demonstrating the will for boldness and innovation. That boldness is in the DNA of Knox College. Too many of our most established and wealthy institutions project an air of complacency, a sense that their current standing is long assured, and that their extraordinary resources are to be protected instead of utilized to push the frontier of what is possible. Leadership in higher education has to come from colleges like Knox, because we understand our greatest risk is standing still when the world is moving quickly, that relevance and value must be our calling cards, that there should be no governor on our institutional aspirations. Under the presidency of Andy McGadney, and in full partnership with this enviable community, Knox is poised to carve a new path in the shifting landscape of higher education. You have all the requisite ingredients. You have talents and smarts. You have long-standing values. And you have a history of daring and experimentation. You also have a president who will unleash the creativity of this community, who will raise your collective expectations for what's possible, and who will earn the support and generosity of your powerful community of alumni and friends. I know this to be true, having worked closely with Andy for nearly a decade. His judgment is impeccable. He has an uncanny ability to synthesize and organize complex and often contradictory information. He has great respect for culture and tradition, but always keeps his eyes on the road ahead, and that's never been more important than it is right now. He recognizes opportunities where others only see constraints. And he has a rare ability to both craft a shared vision and bring it to life. Now, these qualities alone would set him apart. But what makes Andy really special is how he can work all of this while building community. Community building often goes unseen and unrewarded. But in a city that carries the name of the college's founder, and in an academic community where inclusion and collaboration foster groundbreaking discoveries, the work of community building is a paramount concern. Community is deeply ingrained in the soul of your new president. No one asked Andy to help organize a group of black men in Waterville, Maine, to work with the police chief on policies and practices that would ensure fair treatment of all the city's citizens in the wake of a national reckoning of police misconduct and killings. He just did it. No one asked him to make his home the center of community gatherings, of informal conversations, and moments of teaching. He just did it. No one asked him to advise groups of students and to mentor dozens of others, including younger colleagues. He just did it. No spotlight and no reward, just the right thing to do. In fairness, none of this would be possible without Andy's incredible community of friends and family. And this is just a quick PSA for his friends from Wesleyan. He wanted to say that what happened at Wesleyan stays at Wesleyan, so we just keep that in all fairness. But let me go to his family. We heard a little bit about Camille earlier. I will tell you this, Camille is a star. Now, it's true, if you get invited to a barbecue at the McGadney's house, you should go, and Andy works the grill like a pro. But it's Camille's jerk chicken that's going to steal the show when you're there. She's actually beloved in my family for her homemade granola. It would have been a nice treat if everybody got a bag of that today when we came in. It suggests that for any type of Knox events going forward. But the fact is, Camille seems to excel at whatever she does. She could easily be leading colleges or other mission-driven organizations herself. However, she has committed herself to family first. And what a family it is. We're so proud to be able to call Kyle an alumnus of Colby College. Max is killing it at Howard University and looks good in his new clothes today. And with any luck, Naomi will see the light and come to Colby College when she's ready for that. Now, I might need your help, because first of all, if you're thinking she's going to come to Knox, we're ready to fight. But secondly, she thinks she wants to be an architect. She needs to know that if she's going to be an architect, she needs a liberal arts degree first. Am I right? You can't argue with that. You got a whole crowd going here. So I will close by simply saying that we adore and we admire the McGadneys. To have them in your community is a wonderful gift. To have Andy as your president is to be led by a person of unyielding integrity, exceptional talent, and a deep concern for the welfare of others. Congratulations to the Knox community, and congratulations to President McGadney. Together, you will lead at a time when higher education in the world at large is desperate for principled leadership in fearless institutions that can show us that our better days are still ahead. It is my great pleasure and honor to introduce the 20th president of Knox College, C. Andrew McGadney. Thank you.
moment I just had is a little bit like the scene in The Godfather where Michael goes into the men's room to get the pistol with which he'll kill Sollozzo and can't find it. I have a medallion to put on Andy. It was not where it was supposed to be. I was a little panicked. No one should have to follow David Green, but I am going to say one thing. I have it all over him because this morning I, in fact, had some of Camille's granola, and I'll just tell you, first class. It is really good stuff. So some people have asked when we on the search committee knew that Andy was the right person to lead us. Some of those same people have suggested it was when we met Camille. There might be some truth to that. But for me, the clarifying moment came during Andy's conversation with the search committee, our first time meeting him in person. Andy had been interviewing at that point for a day and a half. The committee was seated in a large room, spaced, masked, the way we were. The energy in the room was a little low. A student representative, Bamishe Afalabi, stood up and said he had a statement more than a question. He wanted Andy to know the burden that he felt in choosing the next president of Knox, because as a soon-to-be graduate, he wanted to know that the college would still be here in 20 years for him to show his kids. Andy came to life. He moved across the room towards Bamishe. His energy was palpable. "I think you're wanting the wrong thing," he said. "You want to be able to bring your kids back here in 20 years and say, 'Man, I could never get into this place today.'" It was a great answer, and it was an electrifying moment for us because it was about aspiration. It was about ambition. It was about doing the right things in the right ways to take a great institution and move it forward and make us better. And I can promise every one of you that in the years since that meeting, none of that ambition has been tempered. None of those aspirations have been diminished. In fact, I believe they've grown. Those of you who make education your life's work know far better than I do the challenges that liberal arts colleges face. It's easy to find those who are pessimistic for the future. It's easy to worry about the mortality of these kinds of institutions. Knox College is a special place that changes lives, a place that offers students the opportunity to be truly seen by faculty and staff, and to have that interaction that redirects the course of their lives forever. Andy McGadney understands the mission of this college and the value of this college. He's working tirelessly to move us forward and to honor our past while investing in our future. The challenges are real, but the opportunities are greater. We're blessed to have Andy's optimism as we confront those challenges and work to realize those opportunities. We are lucky to have his boldness and his appetite for innovation. Andy is tasked with imagining our future and leading us toward it. And his vision for a new and creative academic programs, greater access for students of all kinds, and exciting outcomes for our students as they graduate suggest the future is bright. One last thing. This work doesn't end. There aren't a lot of victory laps or end zone dances, just on to the next. But for today at least, before we say next, I think we should celebrate our good fortune to have this leader at this time. Today's a great day for Andy McGadney, my friend, and I offer my most heartfelt congratulations. Don't clap for me. And this is all you're waiting for, so, Andy McGadney. See Andrew McGadney.
That works.
Your dad's in the audience. Gotta get it right. You are called to be the 20th president of Knox College. By the authority of the Board of Trustees, it is my honor and privilege to invest you with all the powers, duties, and responsibilities of the presidency of Knox College. In acknowledgement of your installation, I present you with this medallion, which reflects the seal of Knox College and is symbolic of the trust we place in you as the 20th president of this college. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Wow, what an amazing group of people here. This is an awesome day. Good morning, good morning. Yeah. I can't tell you how deeply grateful, honored, and humbled I am to stand before you this morning, and actually inspired to have an opportunity to speak with you this morning. First, I'd like to thank all of our members of the platform party here today. Appreciate you being here and being a part of this magical moment. I also just like to acknowledge and thank a few people. So if you could bear with me for a moment. Let me first start by just acknowledging our board chair, Tony Etz, from the great class of 1983, and his awesome wife, Nancy. Who knew that I'd have a new text buddy, but we communicate often. I mean, daily text, phone calls, in person. It's quite wonderful. Tony, I'm grateful for your partnership on this journey, and thank you for your beautiful welcome this morning. You touched all of our amazing friends of this college community here today, and I also wanted to extend my heartfelt welcome and thanks to all of you. This moment just doesn't happen without support, encouragement, failures, successes, and thankfully more successes than failures, guidance, sacrifice, and love from many. And I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank and publicly recognize a few individuals who've made today a reality. Thanks to all the members of the Presidential Search Committee for making a very wise choice. Well done, well done, well done. A special thanks to Roger and Ann Taylor, as well as Teresa Mott and Ray Miller for their grace, words of advice, encouragement, and support in this transition. Knox is in a wonderful place because of your efforts, your sacrifices, both professionally and personally, and your tremendous leadership over time. Adam Vitale and Matt Olafson for your warmth, your hospitality, and willingness to connect Camille and I with amazing people, both here in Galesburg and Chicago, including Ken Norgan, the wanderer from Chicago, who's here today. Josh Gibb and Peter Schwartzman for your hope and vision for our great city and the amazing possibilities and opportunities that await our future together. To David and Carolyn Green for your friendship, mentorship, and love. Naomi, I did not know you were going to get that type of attention, so, forgive me. But it was pretty good advice, though. Listen. To my family, my cousins who have traveled far and wide to be here, I'm grateful and honored to share this moment with you. To my kids, Kyle, Max, Naomi, you are all such tremendous human beings that have brought such joy in my life. And to the love of my life, Camille Aird McGadney, an amazing and faithful partner, an incredible mother, and by the way, I told Jerry I was going to mention this. By the way, folks, tomorrow is Mother's Day, Grandmother's Day, don't forget. But Camille, I would not want to be on this journey with anyone else, although most people have figured out that you're truly the better half. I also want to give a few shout-outs to my childhood friends from Bloomfield, Connecticut, high school and college, loyal and trusted fraternity brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi, the Wesleyan Corps, that's good, I'm glad the things happen at Wesleyan, stay there, the Clark University crew, my cohort 13 family from UPenn, from Philadelphia to Kazakhstan to Galesburg, Illinois, who knew? And my wonderful friends from Colby. Some of you have heard me talk about my love of education, and that in many ways it started with my mom, Naomi Poe McGadney, who was a first grade teacher for over 30 years in the Hartford Public System and died way too young when I was 21 years old. The part of the story that has not been shared is that my stepmom, Dr. Marilyn Stewart McGadney, a retired, tenured faculty member from Savannah State University, with a kind heart, nurturing soul, depth of thought, entrepreneurial spirit, and strength of conviction, walked into my life almost 30 years ago and made our entire family better. Mama Marilyn, I'm blessed by your love, support, words of advice, amazing cooking. You also gave me 2 sisters, a niece, a nephew, and a host of wonderful extended family members. But ultimately, I very much appreciate your loving partnership with my dad. I'm honored to share this moment with you. And will you stand and be recognized? Last but not least, I would like to thank and acknowledge my dad. For teaching and instilling with me the many values and principles that I live and work by today. It's an importance of an unbeatable work ethic. You can't outwork me. No excuses. You do what is required regardless of the circumstances. Or in other words, no whining. Family first. Watching my dad retire early from a job he loved so that he could serve as my mom's primary caregiver. It's a powerful example of everlasting love, selfishness, dedication, and commitment. A few classic and simple phrases from my dad that continue to resonate. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Not as good, but better. Respect your elders. Time waits on no one, and the importance of relationships, family and friends. Clifford Ernell McGadney from Pritchard, Alabama, you're an amazing human being, a principled and dedicated role model, a lover of families and babies, friends and community. Only wishing the very best in all of us. You understand the importance of presence, attending sporting events, performances, graduations, funerals, weddings, being patient and present through all of life's ups and downs. This moment I dedicate to you, my hero, my inspiration, my dad. Moving Knox forward. Many of you have heard me utter this phrase, or perhaps you've had referenced the theme in the college's communications materials. But today, I'd like to discuss further what that phrase really means, and ultimately what that phrase really means to all of us. I would like to offer 3 simple ways for us to consider our future together. Acknowledge who we are, double down on our strengths, and dream big. Acknowledge who we are. During my early interactions with the Knox and Galesburg community, and by the way, I am so excited to be here in the Orpheum Theatre. You know, this last-minute adjustment is so fitting for our partnership. So during those early interactions, what I consistently heard and witnessed was the care for one another, the commitment to this place, the passion for what is possible, and as our provost described recently, a nurturing vibe for all. In the conversations with faculty about their support, encouragement, and lifelong connections with students, whether supporting their growth in or outside the classroom, our faculty and staff are deeply compassionate and caring individuals who invest in our students and make a difference in our community. From my perspective, the sense of pride, commitment to mission and community is like any other college or university I have ever been a part of. let's acknowledge a few points that we should all be proud of. Knox is founded by abolitionist missionaries during the Great Revival. You are all aware of the historic fifth debate between Abraham Lincoln and Stephen A. Douglas that took place on the east side of Old Main. And let's not forget the countless amazing, innovative leaders that now count Knox as their alma mater. A few proof points. Trustee Carol Craig, the first woman owner-founder of a space company to go public. Senator Hiram Revels, the first black member of Congress, sworn into Senate in 1870 and the first president of Alcorn College in Rodney, Mississippi. Duke Petrovich, originally from Yugoslavia, who climbed the ranks of the Wrigley Jr. Company to ultimately retire as president. And Sarah Jane Ahmed, class of 2012, who we will honor in a moment, founder of the Financial Futures Center. Knox has received external validation for our faculty's strong commitment to undergraduate teaching, ranked along other colleges like Carleton, Williams, Grinnell, and Amherst College. A business major at a liberal arts institution. Knox did it right by developing a business major embedded in a liberal arts environment, whereby our students have the ability to dive deep in a concentration area, environmental policy and management, or finance and accounting, training future generations of leaders in business who are well suited to impact global change. Immersion terms, a Knox-only experience, exploration within a single field of study. Green Oaks term, whereby students live and work at a Green Oaks Biological Field Station, or startup, theater, open studio, clinical psychology terms. From our nurturing culture, compassionate faculty, staff, and students, amazing, talented, and innovative alumni, we have an impressive foundation built over time that we should be proud of and recognize the opportunity we have to build an even better Knox for the future. Let's acknowledge who we are. Double down on our strengths. The United States higher education still remains the best in the world, primarily due to the variety of options that we provide our students. From small privates to large publics, from community colleges to technical institutions, or from liberal arts colleges to national research-based universities. The variety of choices provides a competitive advantage globally, but the reality is today's higher education landscape is super competitive. The cost to deliver a high-quality residential-based education remains expensive, and all around us we are seeing declining enrollments, decreased revenues, and unsustainable pressures on staff and faculty. Understanding this landscape and recognizing our position within that landscape is vital. We are at a critical stage in our history, and the need to differentiate ourselves from the pack of liberal arts institutions has never been greater. By doubling down on our mission and strengths, moving at an intentionally rapid pace and never letting up, we can ensure that our students thrive, achieve postgraduate success, fulfill their potential, and drive a demand for a notch education. During a recent faculty meeting, I shared that I attended the 5th Annual American Talent Initiative in New York City and shared the stage with 3 other presidents for a session entitled Navigating Progress in Uncertain Times. ATI is a Bloomberg Philanthropies supported collaboration between the Aspen Institute and Ithaca SNR, a growing alliance of college and universities dedicated substantially expanding opportunity and access for low and moderate income students. The focus of the session was around actions taken to prioritize and put resources into a comprehensive institutional strategy, including outreach, inclusive admissions, promoting and increasing need-based financial aid, and other supports for students that ensure equitable student inclusion, belonging, and success. I was able to share the success of many of our programs and initiatives over time, and recent items designed to help low-income students ultimately attend at Knox College. The initiatives I shared range from our TRIO and McNair programs to Gale Scholars and our new Prairie Promise initiative. But probably the most impactful part of my presence at this conference was the ability to get our Knox story in front of some of the most influential and powerful institutional leaders across the country. The information was shared, in essence, is our historical mission and commitment to, quote, increase access to all qualified students of varied backgrounds, races, and conditions, regardless of financial means. A mission of the college dating back to 1837. Of the 128 partner schools, our stats for Pell-eligible students ranks among the very top with 32% of our student population. Whether you're a first-generation or Pell-eligible student from a rural farm in Illinois, Iowa, or Indiana, or from the city of Chicago or cities elsewhere, Knox welcomes you, nurtures you, and prepares you for success within any field of human endeavor. Once a month, I hold office hours for students. It's a wonderful opportunity to hear what's on students' minds. Sometimes the time is used to share a concern, but oftentimes the time is used where students ideate, which I love. But the other day I had a student who popped in to just share her reflections on her time at Knox. This student talked about the impact of 3 different faculty members on her intellectual growth. She discussed how the questions posed in class or paper pushed her to ask different questions, reflect deeply, dive into other material, which ultimately opened her mind and thoughts in ways that she had not imagined. She described her relationship with her faculty members as transformative, and what I believe she was beginning to see was the power of these relationships in its earliest forms. Living and working at a small college allows these types of relationships to form, grow, and become long-term friends. Whether it happens in the classroom, outside the classroom, for example, with a global or research internship, civic engagement, entrepreneurial effort, or fellowships, we need to provide this type of opportunity for every student. This is why we need to double down on what we do and these highly personalized interactions. By doing so, we ensure a demand for Knox education, we ensure our market position, we ensure our ability to change lives, we ensure our ability to grow and expand our reach, and ultimately, it ensures our ability to dream big. I'm so thankful to Professor of Music and Director of Choral and Vocal Studies, Laurel Lane, for selecting and leading our beautiful choir in a perfect selection for today. The words of the song, Hold Fast to Dreams by Langston Hughes. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. We are not here to witness barren fields frozen with snow. We are here together to dream big, bold, and aspirational goals. We are here to dream about an abundance of opportunities for our students, our faculty, our staff, and our community. You heard me talk about my dad's principle of an unbeatable work ethic. I'm here today to tell you that together we can and we will dream together. We'll strategize together. We will execute together. And ultimately, we will succeed together. I thank you for this opportunity to humbly serve this great institution. I look forward to working and partnering with each and every one of you to make a great institution even better. Thank you. It is now my privilege to confer the honorary degrees upon the recipients selected by the Board of Trustees for this presidential inauguration ceremony. By selecting these individuals of demonstrated merit for recognition with honorary degrees, doctorates, the Board of Trustees invites them into an enduring relationship with Knox College. The degrees carry the weight of the history, traditions, and values of the college. They're conferred with care and with deep respect for those whose lives and deeds we are privileged to honor. Chair of the Knox College Board of Trustees, Tony Etz, will present the candidates for honorary degrees.
Sarah Jane Ahmed, in your work as an analyst and advisor and the founder of the Financial Futures Center, you have shown the ability to dive deeply into technical details while continuing to nurture a global vision, promoting economic transformation through investments in both financial and energy planning. You use your expertise in financial and energy markets to engage senior political and financial leaders around the world directly and thoughtfully. You are a leading voice and planner for a future where, through your climate prosperity plans, the countries that are most vulnerable to climate change fully thrive by building resilient and clean energy economies through initiatives that could positively impact more than 1 billion people, generate $2 trillion in economic impact, and mitigate more than 1 trillion tons of emissions. It is no surprise that this past December, the Climate Breakthrough Project selected you for one of the 3 Climate Breakthrough Awards, a $3 million prize and the world's largest environmental award. You are an inspiration to all of us at Knox, and we look forward to celebrating your continued success in transforming the world. I am honored to present you for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
By the authority delegated to me, I hereby confer upon Sarah Jane Ahmed the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the privileges, honors, and dignities which here and elsewhere pertain to that degree.
David A. Green. The University of Chicago, Brown University, Smith College, and most recently Colby College have all been the fortunate beneficiaries of your daring, masterful, and transformational leadership in higher education. You're a visionary, and this vision has resulted in every institution you touch becoming the standard by which others model and measure themselves. Every part of Colby has benefited from your unique brand of innovation. You have led investments that strategically link the Colby curriculum to the world's most pressing challenges, created a new financial aid program that is among the most generous in the country, led a national model for partnership and reinvestment with Colby's commitment to Waterville, and led the Dare Northward campaign, the largest fundraising effort ever undertaken by a liberal arts college, with you at the helm. With you at the helm, applications to Colby and the number of Pell-eligible students have more than tripled, while the number of students of color has more than doubled. I am honored to present you a mentor and model for college presidents across the country for the Doctor of Humane Letters.
By the authority delegated to me, I hereby confer upon David A. Green the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the privileges, honors, and dignities which here and elsewhere pertain to that degree.
Haki Madhubuti, you're one of the greatest voices of Black poetry in our lifetime. An acclaimed poet who has created the poetry of resistance, the poetry of honorable defiance, read and internalized by millions across the world. A renowned and widely respected advocate of Black self-determination, a writer, educator, publisher of more than 36 books, and former proprietor of 3 Black bookstores in Chicago, an architect of the Black arts movement. You are a leader who is devoted to building Black institutions, a model and mentor with a focus on empowerment for generations of African Americans. You've spent decades documenting and lifting the literature, scholarship, and conversations of Black voices. Your Third World Press is the largest and oldest independent Black-owned press in the United States. You are a generous, passionate, and visionary educator who expanded your foundation to create the Institute of Positive Education, and through 3 schools in Chicago, one named after Betty Shabazz, provides the very best education to children of color. Your distinguished teaching career includes faculty positions at some of the country's top colleges. It's an honor to present you the Doctor of Literature, the degree of the Doctor of Literature.
By the authority delegated to me, I hereby confer upon Haki Madhubuti the degree Doctorate of Literature, honoris causa, with all the privileges, honors, and dignities which here and elsewhere pertain to that degree.
I was going to read a poem, but in terms of time, I just want to say this for a few words. I'm really happy to be here with you. This is really a pleasure for me, and to meet your family and so forth. Third World Press will donate to Knox College an entire library from over 55 years. You will receive these hundreds of books as our donation in your name, as well as in the name of Dr. M.Z. Fred Hord, who's emeritus here at the university. These will be coming next week.
Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Hastings, professor of mathematics, but more importantly, a proud member of the Knox graduating class of 1976. Go 76ers. So I'm here to announce not one, but actually 2 winners of the Faculty Achievement Award from 2020 and 21. The reason being that the announcement was delayed because of the pandemic. It is my distinct honor and pleasure. Let me address the awardees. When I read your name, if you would make your way up to the stage and stand here to my left to be recognized. Okay, back to business. It's an honor and a pleasure to recognize Richard Stout, professor of economics. As the recipient of the 2020 Presidential Faculty Achievement Award for Excellence. Rich has served with great distinction since his arrival in Knox in 1981. He earned his Bachelor of Arts in Economics from Wabash College in 1968 and a Master of Arts in Economics from Northwestern University the next year. Like many young men of his generation, Rich's next step followed a path less commonly traveled by those on an academic career track today. He served for 6 years in the U.S. Air Force and was honorably discharged as a Vietnamese veteran. Returning to his studies in economics, Rich would go on to complete his PhD in economics at Indiana University. A specialist in econometrics, statistics, and the economics of nonprofits, Rich has been a regular contributor to the statistics program and instructor in the economics research course that's so central to the experience of economics majors. But he has always brought liberal arts commitment to analytical thinking, compelling generations of students to evaluate their assumptions and explain their reasoning. Rich's service has been extensive, be it questions related to the work of a faculty committee or an academic department, examining the impact of an educational program, the consequences of a budgetary decision, or a benefits policy proposal, whether examining socially responsible investment practices, farmland variability, clean water, performance rankings of Illinois school districts, frankly, on almost any question at the college or community where one might want statistical data to enable a sensible appreciation of the issue. Colleagues know that Rich will be quick to offer his advice and perspective. Far more often than not, Rich completes extraordinary feats of acquiring and presenting data without compensation, driven solely by the satisfaction of getting the job done and in defense of the fundamental principle that decisions should not be made on baseless assumptions and flawed data. This award is testament to your colleagues' awareness and appreciation of these many contributions. President McGadney, it is with great pleasure that I present Richard A. Stout, Professor of Economics, to you for this honor. Rich is also a very good fisherman and a real fan of Knox athletics. Now the 2021 Achievement Award. Again, a great pleasure to recognize a friend and colleague, Elizabeth Carlin Metz. Liz is Smith V. Brand, Distinguished Professor of Theater. So congratulations for the 2021 Faculty Achievement Award. Liz has served with great distinction since her arrival in 1994. She earned her bachelor's degree at Roger Williams College in Theater in 1976 and a Master of Fine Arts in Acting at Temple University. Liz's artistic energies have been widely shared at Knox and elsewhere. In addition to the many productions she's staged at Knox and the work she has dedicated to the success of Knox's signature repertory theater term, as co-founder and artistic director of Vitalist Theater, she has staged a number of productions in Chicago. Many of these productions have been world premieres and all displayed the innovative and experimental streak that has defined her career as an artist. Equally sensitive to the needs of students, faculty, and staff at Knox, she shares her teaching widely. She served as director of the British Theatre and Cultural Studies program at Roger Williams University, and also as a co-leader of Knox's London Arts Alive study travel program. These many endeavors and successes have grown from a thorough embrace of the idea that innovation and collaboration are the foundations of a modern liberal arts college. Knox's Arts Administration program, which sprung from a collaboration between arts and business, she was, by the way, instrumental in forming the business program as well, reflects this creative imagination to encourage all parts of the campus to be in conversation with each other. As tireless and passionate as she's been as a promoter of the arts, Liz has been an untiring leader of the faculty. Time and again, she's accepted leadership positions in the faculty's two most challenging committee duties, the Faculty Personnel Committee and Faculty Executive Committee. In those roles, she has not been merely content to do the routine business of those committees. She's dedicated her efforts to meaningfully improving the work of faculty, to hear their concerns, and craft actions and policies to bring about measurable change. In this work, she is both unflinchingly honest to her appraisals and overwhelmingly committed to the colleagues and the institutions she serves. Owing to the experience of esteemed service, she is sought out by her colleagues, committees, deans, and presidents as an inexhaustible source of wise counsel. President McGadney, it is with great pleasure that I present Elizabeth Carlin Metz, Smith v. Brand Distinguished Professor of Theater, to you for this honor.
Please be seated. President McGadney, the Knox community, and distinguished guests, my name is Conrad Hamilton, and it is my honor to be the closing speaker for today's ceremony. I am sometimes told, mainly by my wife, that I'm never satisfied unless I get the last word. Now, I do not believe this to be true, but it seems that President McGadney, in the short time that he has gotten to know me, has come to the same conclusion as my wife. And so I find myself at the end of today's festivities with the job of bringing things to a close. Dr. Andrew McGadney is the 7th Knox president whom I have had the pleasure of working with. And based upon my observations of the previous 6 administrations, I've come to believe that the presidency of Knox College is hard. It's an almost impossible job. The president must function as the chief representative of the college, dealing with donors, other educational institutions, various local, state, and federal governmental boards and agencies. At the same time, a good president must be a sensitive steward of the campus culture, addressing and balancing the needs of the multiple constituencies of students, faculty, staff, board, and alumni. Finally, a college president today is expected to be the consummate fundraiser, an efficient manager of budgets and personnel, and yet a visionary overseeing the intellectual direction of the college. Fortunately, it appears that in Andrew McGadney, we have someone who is up to the task. We have heard today and on other occasions about Andy's superb background in fundraising and academic management. Those of us on the faculty have observed his quick and decisive actions regarding some long-standing challenges. And the entire campus has been drawn in by his generous and gregarious nature and enthusiastic engagement of students, faculty, and board members. But President McGadney's biggest challenge, I think, is that he takes the helm of a liberal arts college at a time when the core principles of liberal arts education are not as celebrated in the larger society as they once were. And here I use the word liberal not to refer to a particular political view or specific party affiliation. Rather, I use its more traditional and generous meaning, describing a way of thinking and a kind of discourse centered upon the values of freedom of speech, honest consideration of opposing ideas, and mutual respect among people who disagree with each other. Or, as Andy himself has put it, you don't have to agree, but you should at least be willing to listen and learn. Yet it's no secret that we are living through a difficult period in our nation's history, where these principles of liberal learning are often ignored or even attacked by many who influence public discussion and our civic culture. Andy had this to say in a recent interview: "I'm struck by the hard difference in opinion when you look at the politics of today. It's either you're one way or the other way. The two shall never meet." And it is on this point that I feel particularly enthusiastic about President McGadney's leadership. In the year that I've gotten to know Andy, I've come to understand that one of his core principles is the positive role that he sees for the academy in reestablishing the core liberal values. Higher education has not only the opportunity, but the obligation, says Andy, to ensure that our young minds are being developed in such a way that they're willing to have difficult dialogues. This is where a small liberal arts college, this is where our sweet spot should be. As we inaugurate our new president, let us do so with an appreciation of the difficult task ahead of him, and with the acknowledgement that he will require help from all of us if he is to be successful. And his success will be our success. We may not all have the kind of expertise or skill set to assist him with every aspect of his complex responsibilities. But we can all participate in Andrew McGadney's call to, in his words, create the environment where differing opinions can still come together, and to reaffirm Knox College as a space for young minds where they can share their true viewpoints, but also be willing to change, where differences of opinion are not endpoints, but are beginning points. Welcome, Andy, to the toughest job you're going to love. Congratulations. Would you please now stand for the recessional, and remain standing? Yeah.
That gust of wind just got our music like right there.